Hey guys, I'm back with another Reddit video. I'm thinking about posting bi-weekly just because I have school coming up and I'm an architecture major and sometimes I don't even get sleep. Anyways, in today's video, I'm just going to be doing a little building. I found this flower bridge inspo on TikTok, so I'm going to do this to connect the two lands together. I did a bunch of terraforming as well. So let's get started with the Reddit videos. If you guys want to sleep, just chill out. And if you're doing something right now, thank you for spending time with me. I found this post that was made 5 years ago, and let's get into it. Am I the asshole for telling my wife the lock on my daughter's door does not get removed till my brother-in-law and his daughters are out of our house? My brother-in-law, Sammy, lost his home shortly after his divorce 10 months ago. He moved in with us and brought his twin daughters, Olivia and Selene, 18, with him a couple months ago. His sister, my wife, and I have one daughter, Zoe, 16, and she and her cousins aren't close, but they get along fine. Olivia and Selene have no respect for Zoe's privacy. None. They used to walk into her room and take everything they get their hands on. Makeup, phone accessories, clothes, school laptop, etc. Zoe complained a lot, and I've already asked the girls to respect Zoe's privacy and stop taking things. My wife and Sammy saw no issue with this. After all, they're girls, and this is typical teenage girls' behavior. I completely disagreed. The last straw was when Zoe bought a $60 MAC makeup kit that looks like a paint set that she saved up for over a month, and one of the girls, Selene, took it without permission and ruined it by mixing shades together while using it. Don't know much about makeup, but that's what Zoe said when she found the kit on her bed and was crying. I told my wife and she said she'd ask Selene to apologize. But I got Zoe a lock after I found she was moving valuable belongings out of the house because of this incident. Sammy and his daughters saw the lock and weren't happy. The girls were extremely upset. Sammy asked about it and I straight up told him. He said, "My daughters aren't thieves. It's normal that girls of the same age borrow each other's stuff." He said Zoe could easily get another makeup kit for about $15 from Walmart and shouldn't even be buying expensive adult makeup in the first place. And my wife suggested to take care of this defect in Zoe's personality, trying to appear more older than she is. He accused me of being overprotective and babying Zoe with this level of enablement. I told him this is between me and my wife, but she shamed me for putting a lock on Zoe's door for her cousins to see and preventing them from spending time with her, saying I was supposed to treat them like daughters. Then demanded I remove it, but I said this lock does not get removed till her brother and his daughters are out of our house. She got mad, saying I was implying we kicked them out and said her family will hate me for this. So I reminded her that I let Sammy and his family move in, which is something her own family refused to do. So she should start with blaming them for not taking their own son and nieces/granddaughters in. If it wasn't for her family's unwillingness to help, we wouldn't be dealing with this much disturbance at home. Everybody's been giving me and Zoe silent treatment, and my wife is very much upset over this. Okay, before even reading the comments and stuff, this mom is such a horrible person. Like, what do you mean your kid has a defect? Sorry, they want their own personal space and their belongings not to be messed with. This is just weird. Anyways, let's get into the comments. Sloat King says, I let Sammy and his family moved in, which is something that her own family refused to do. I think you need to think ahead with this situation. Your daughters are already uncomfortable in your own home. Your wife is upset. You need to do what is right for your immediate family before it puts even more strain on your relationship. I think you could get them to leave before it gets even worse. It doesn't take much imagination to see how it could. How uncomfortable do you have to be in your own home before something snaps? This is not a tenable situation. You have a right to feel safe/comfortable in your own home, and anyone that militates against that is playing a dangerous game. La La Land says, you did the right thing with the lock. You opened your home to these people, and they are disrespecting you and your child. I'm sorry your wife is not on your side, but your first obligation is to protect your daughter and your home. Valuables and all. It was a $60 makeup kit this time. Next time it'll be worse. The cousins are not your daughters, and you don't owe them any right to take, use, and destroy any of your family's belongings. Hopefully they will take the hint and leave as soon as possible, but you did nothing wrong, and I hope eventually your wife will understand that, not the asshole. So we didn't get any updates at all from this person, RIP. Well, not RIP, I'm sure they're living well and happily. But Reddit did decide they are not the asshole. Okay, I actually found some updates, they said, to the don't back down person. They said, I probably shouldn't be saying this, but my wife has been acting like a hypocrite lately, especially regarding privacy issues. She considers privacy something very important, but still thought that Zoe did not have the right to get a lock. Even if we leave her cousins out of this matter, my wife is not agreeing with the whole concept of getting a lock for Zoe. I explained to her that what's been happening, even told her that Zoe's been moving some of her valuable belongings into a friend's house to keep them safe. Do I blame her? Absolutely not. But my wife still thought Zoe was wrong to do that. Now her cousins are upset, and they and Sammy are using the silent treatment, among other things like eating without us, not sitting with us, as a guilt tactic. Even though it's not affecting me, it's making Zoe feel like she did something wrong by having a lock for her room. Also, why are they doing that in your own home? Why are they ignoring you in your home? Also, I hate to say this, but the silent treatment is a form of abuse. Okay, anyways, it's time for bed in Minecraft. I have a few questions. Do you guys like Forge or Fabric? Because I'm kind of regretting using Forge. It's the only thing I knew to use, but a lot of people were telling me Fabric was much more reliable, so let me know what you think. Right now I'm just gathering sand and gravel to make the concrete for the flower bridge, and then I'll finally get started on building it. Alright, time for the next story. This was made 7 years ago. Am I the asshole for making a dad joke? No, my stepdaughter, Madeline, was about a year old when I married her mother, Jessica. Madeline's father died before she was born. Madeline is currently 15 and she's been rebelling for almost everything. She did something bad, so while picking her up, I set a punishment up for her. Then she said, "You're not my dad, I don't have to follow you." Honestly, I got a bit hurt from that, but I understand she didn't mean it, and she'd probably change. I just replied with, "I'm still your legal guardian for the next 3 years, and as long as you're in my house, you have to follow my rules." That happened about 2 days ago, so our family was going grocery shopping when Madeline said, "I'm hungry, I need food." I decided to be extremely cheeky and say, "Hi, hungry, I'm not your dad." My son just started to laugh uncontrollably. My daughter was just quiet with embarrassment, and my wife was berating me, not to stoop down to her level. I honestly thought it was a funny dad joke, and my son agrees, so am I the asshole? Edit, I did adopt her, so legally I am her parent. Anyways, mini update. I'll probably give a full update later, but here is what happened so far. I go to my daughter's room after dinner and begin talking with her. "Hey, I'm really sorry that I hurt you by the words I said, and I'm really your dad. I changed your diapers, I met your boyfriend, and I plan on helping you through college. And plus, I'm legally your dad, so we're stuck together. But seriously, I'm going to love you like my daughter, even if you don't think I'm your dad." Then I hug her. She did start to cry. I assume that's good. I've never been in this situation, so I personally don't think it was that bad, especially because she threw the first stone. But at the same time, she is 15 and she's got a lot to unpack as a 15-year-old. So I wouldn't blame her, and I don't think it's deserved. Alright, let's read some comments. This is from Belmerte. ESH. I'm not sure what ESH means. A lot of people are saying that. Anyways, my dad is not my biological father, and when I was a teen, I went through a similar angst and wanted to lash out. Now I had the good sense to know that saying something like that would be extremely hurtful, so I never did. But also, if my dad ever said something like that, especially in front of my brother, who is his biological son, I would have been heartbroken. I think you need to sit down and have a discussion with her about those kinds of comments. In my opinion, if you don't do this, this is gonna hurt her for a long time. Somebody said, quote the Raven said, well, biology aside, do you see yourself as her dad? Because I'm betting you do. And the fact that you'd say that you aren't, in public no less, is probably confirming her own adolescent fears. She is probably actually insecure about you not being her real dad. And I bet that makes her worried that you won't always be there for her. She's a kid and you're an adult. You have to show her the right way to be and the role model she needs. You're the asshole. Apologize. Alright, so Reddit deemed that everyone sucks. So I guess everyone's the asshole? I'm not sure. Next post. Building this flower bridge was a lot more annoying than I expected, because you have to dig out the middle, and then the middle of the concrete turns into no water, so you can't swim out, and then you have to jump in to grab the concrete. It's a lot. Anyways, I don't think I have enough stuff, so I think I'm gonna just go get more. Next story. Am I the asshole for telling my extended family how many men, roughly, my sister has boinked with after she outed our youngest brother as being a V-word? Guys, please assume what V-word means because I don't want to see it. I'm scared about YouTube. It's my first time here. We had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my elder sister, 29 female, my younger sister, 24, and my youngest brother, 22. Extended family attended our family dinner, so all of our significant others, our cousins, our aunts, uncles, etc. During the dinner, my elder sister and youngest brother got into the mild disagreement. This would be 29 sister and 22 little brother, okay? My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize the rest of us were getting fed up. Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up, I'm not gonna argue with a 22-year-old V-word." My brother hadn't done any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a very mean drunk. Okay. Anyways, I immediately told my sister to grow up, and she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a V-word and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me as my bro definitely has confidence issues, and doesn't need to be made fun of like this. So I responded by saying how she has boinked with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know this, amazingly. I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying my sister misled him about her past. Family is blaming me for their marital problems. I refused to accept I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was give her a taste of her own medicine. I think this was crossing the line of a-hole territory, but at the same time, I feel like this sister brought it upon herself. I don't think exposing someone as being a V-word was really that, wrong, or, as embarrassing. Not saying, okay, this is hard to say. Obviously, being called a V-word feels bad sometimes, but I feel like it isn't as bad as saying she has slept or boinked 100 men. Anyways, I don't know. This is a weird story. The sister is definitely an asshole. I don't know about this guy. Maybe they should have said something better, like, oh, you're drunk. I don't know. Annoyed68 says, not that asshole. I feel like everyone voting ESH, I don't know what ESH means, thinks it's more damaging to be or S-shamed than it is being shamed for being a V word. I was a late bloomer. Literally every milestone was hit way after what is socially acceptable for people my age. When you tell a person you're still a V word, you're immediately hit with the I. They stare at you and critique you like, yeah, their nose is a little big, I guess. They're pretty socially awkward, so I can see why, etc. Trying to make sense of what's wrong with you that no one wants to have boink with you. I feel like once you have boink, you'll feel differently. That's so cute. It's good that you're waiting because you should make it feel special. I didn't and I totally regret it. So really, this is a blessing in disguise, etc. It makes you feel like a little kid trying to sit at the grown-up table. Oh, you aren't missing anything, trust me. It's better to wait anyways, etc. Just a ton of patronizing comments that all in all make you feel less than, which is exactly what S-shaming is meant to do. If the sister didn't want anyone to poke about her past, then she shouldn't be delving into her brother's lack of one. Being a V word isn't a big deal, the sister said, because she clearly feels like it is and wanted to invalidate her brother's voice. That was the whole point of her comment. His opinion, in her eyes, is less than because he's a V word. I feel like most people don't understand what it is to be told you're less of a person / less of an adult because you haven't stuck your... Anyway, it's a very degrading concept. Okay, let's read all the comments that the OP left behind. This is just like to random things. I definitely wouldn't have said it if I knew or even suspected her husband didn't know. Figured it was common knowledge to basically everyone there. Not saying she should have, like, it was okay for her to leave out her past to her partner, but it's also kind of weird to figure that everybody at a party would know your big sister's boink life, but that's just my opinion. I don't think 100 people by 29 is difficult. I don't see why you think it's hard to believe. Admittedly, I obviously don't know the exact number, but I'm certain it's at least 100. Again, not that there's anything wrong with that. That's just she'd bring someone home every Friday or Saturday law, and that's only the guys she boinked with at home. Next. Because I lived in the same house as my sister until she was 25. How could I not know when I saw her being with a guy this guy can't type. Bringing a guy home every Friday and Saturday law. I obviously don't know the exact number, but 100 is not an exaggeration. Anyways, Reddit voted that everybody sucks. And you know what? I agree. Okay, so I literally thought this would be a quick, cute build to do, and it's been taking me over 20 minutes already, and I'm not even near done. Later, when my boyfriend gets on, which you guys will see in a video, he's gonna help me find lily pads at the hanging tree. I know, it's weird, I'm sorry. But, yeah. Just watch me suffer and only make the petals right now. That's why it doesn't look really walkable, but once the lily pads are on there, the idea is just to like jump one by one by one, you know? Alright, this post was also from 7 years ago. I don't know why they're all from 2013. What was popping in 2013 in the Am I the Asshole chat? But another one is here. Okay, am I the asshole if I stop paying my daughter's tuition over a disgusting comment she made towards my new girlfriend? My 56 male wife, died at the young age of 51 from a car accident. I was in deep mourning for about a year after her death. I met my new girlfriend, 43, around January. C was the one who made me laugh for the first time after my wife died. She was smart as hell, 3 Ivy League degrees, has a dark sense of humor that I love, a terrific cook, and overall an amazing woman who I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. She is also on the heavier side, a fact that becomes relevant later. I have 2 children, E, 25 male, and A, 19 female. They were well aware that I had gotten a new girlfriend before I first introduced them to C this summer. She got along immediately with E, but A was very, very standoffish. After that initial meeting, I asked A if there was something wrong, but she denied it. C made a few more attempts to get to know A, but they were all rudely rejected. E and A both came home for Thanksgiving dinner. I asked A to please be polite during the meal since she's always been rude in her interactions with C, even though C has been nothing but gracious in return. The dinner was going as well as it could have been for the first 10 minutes, although I noticed a glaring at sorry, I read A as a glaring at C the entire time. When C went to grab her third helping of mashed potatoes, A said, "Don't you think you've already eaten enough, you fat pig?" C started sobbing immediately and ran off into the bedroom. I felt my face turn red and told A to get out. About half an hour after A left, I texted her saying I would no longer pay her tuition unless 1. She apologized to C, 2. C accepts her apology. A must have hello? I can't read, guys. A must have assumed that I was bluffing because she instead doubled down on her behavior during Thanksgiving dinner. I then logged into her university. Guys, I'm sorry. I then logged into her university's tuition payment website, canceled next semester's tuition, and sent A the screenshots. She called me crying and begging me to reconsider, but I told her my mind was made up. Okay, here's my opinion. At first, I was on A's side, like the first beginning before we even met to Thanksgiving, okay? Just because, like, I don't know, it's really hard to see your father move on from your mom so fast. I know it's only been I know it's already been a year, but that's something really hard, especially for a 19-year-old to grasp. So I honestly don't blame her. Her brain still fully isn't developed, and I am saying this as a 19-year-old myself. But once the comment came, that was disgusting. It was disgusting. There was no need for that. I don't think I would say that to anybody. That's just horrible, and that could stick with somebody, you know? So that's my opinion. I don't think the dad is that wrong at all. It's his money, and unless information is being left out of this post, I don't think the dad was wrong at all for revoking the tuition payment. Why would you deserve an education if you're so willing to tear somebody down like that? But at the same time, it's all nuanced to me. Guys, is my voice giving out? Anyways, hello? Okay, so I have a lot of phlegm in my throat. Okay, give me a second, guys. I don't know what's going on with me. Alright, guys, I think I lost my voice, so I'll be back. Okay, so it's been like 5 minutes later, and I spammed every hack I know to help my voice, and I gargled salt, drank some hot water, and then the hot water helped a lot. There was phlegm stuck in my throat, so So that's what was going on. Sorry if I scared you guys. No, I'm not using a voice changer. I just naturally sound like this, and trust me, I don't like it either. Anyways, let's continue where we left off. And JB says, everyone here sucks. Everyone sucks here. Okay, so that's what that's what ESH means. Anyways, they said, your daughter is clearly not over losing her mom, and then seeing you replace her mom, not even 2 years later after she's gone, is probably like a knife in the heart. Just because she says she's fine doesn't mean she is. Think from your daughter's perspective. Your mom dies tragically and unexpected, then a year later, dad has already moved on with a new woman, while you're still having a rough time. I guarantee you A is still grieving, and while it doesn't make it okay for her to lash out, you need to understand where it's coming from. She's not doing it to be evil, she's hurt. While I can see why your first instinct would be to punish her, realistically, you're driving her further away. This isn't just a girl who's being a brat, it's a girl who's lost the most important person in the world for her, and probably feels like she's losing you too to this new woman. I would bet my left hand that she feels incredibly lonely and overwhelmed with all the change. Your daughter's in pain right now. It's great you got over the death of your wife so quickly and are able to move on, but your daughter isn't. You can get another wife. She will never get another mom, but she probably feels like you're trying to force her with a new one. So, what will happen when she refuses to apologize? She'll have to drop out of school since she can't pay. Where will she go? I'm guessing you won't let her live with you and your new girlfriend. Do you know what happens to desperate 19-year-old females with nowhere to go? Hint, it's not good. If I was in your daughter's shoes and you set it up like, apologize to my girlfriend or I'm not paying for your school anymore, I would think, clearly she's more important to him than I am and what I'm going through. And I would resent your girlfriend so much, because she probably feels like you're choosing girlfriend over her. That would never get an apology from me, or hear from me again. Yes, your daughter was wrong, but she's in way too much pain to see that, or really to think clearly. If I were you, I would tell her I'd still be willing to pay for school, but only if you attend counseling sessions, and some we can go together, because this type of aggressive behavior is unacceptable, and we have to get to the bottom of it. If the counseling works, she will come to the conclusion to apologize on her own, and wouldn't that apology mean more than one? Hello? Wouldn't that apology mean more than one you're forcing her out of the way? If she apologizes now, just because you make her, and not because she's actually sorry, it's only a matter of time before something like this happens again. Alright guys, with my voice being horrible, this is the end of today's video. I want to thank you guys for supporting me, and if you're sleeping right now, have sweet dreams, and if you're doing something else, have a good day. Love you guys.